Good morning. I just wanted to jump on here because this has been, aside from me working, it's been kind of a hard weekend for my husband and myself. On Friday morning, Harold and I lost a friend, a coworker of Harold's, who, if everyone remembers, my husband is a correctional officer. And so this friend was also a correctional officer. I think people tend to think that correctional officers are, they're not, they don't matter because they just guard the people that are bad and evil and they're in prison. But those correctional officers, it's a job. Some of them have families, and it is their only source of income. With that being said, the prison that my husband works at is actually the hot spot in the state of North Carolina for coronavirus. More prisoners in that prison have contracted coronavirus, which puts each and every one of the correctional officers at risk, including their families. So actually, and it's kind of hard for me, but actually, this correctional officer had a son who was in the class. His teacher is a friend of mine, a close friend of mine. And so it was very hard, devastating to call my friend on Friday evening and let her know that her student's father had passed away due to COVID. I'm so thankful that my husband recovered from COVID. Yes, my husband did contract COVID from work, because working overtime because no one wants to come to work. So my husband covers people's shifts. He contracted it by taking a COVID patient who was a prisoner to the hospital, New Hanover Hospital. And these are just the things these correction officers sacrifice. They sacrifice time with their family. They sacrifice their time. And they just, I really just want to come on here and encourage everyone, if you know a correctional officer, thank them. Because you don't know everyone. Let's think first responders. Let's think our police officers. Correctional officers are just as important as a police officer. Who's going to guard those prisons when the prisoners go to them? Who's going to put them in check? So I'm encouraging everyone, if you know a correctional officer, reach out to them, say thank you, check on them, see how they're doing, especially if they work at Pender Correctional Facility, because that is the hardest hit prison in this state. My husband actually this week only has one day off. He's working Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, the weekend after Thanksgiving. He's working today. He's working tomorrow. Wednesday is his only day off until next Tuesday. That's because nobody wants to be a correctional officer and guard these people. Nobody wants to go into work. If you get a job there, no one wants to go into work. I want my husband out of that prison, but I know my husband's no quitter. He's going to stay there until he can't do it no more. So I want to say thank you to every last correctional officer in this state. Thank you so much for guarding our prisons. Thank you for taking that risk. Thank you for staying overtime. Thank you for just being you. And I want to especially thank Harold Scott for being the man that you are and working, driving an hour to and from work every single day. That's 2 hours a day my husband drives to work and home. So thank you, everyone. And I also want to say rest in peace, Joseph Grinke. You will be severely missed. And I also want to say, please pray for his son, who now has to grow up without a father. Thank you so much for listening to my rant. It's been bothering me all weekend, especially when I hear and see people not thinking that this is a real disease, thinking that it was nothing. So, yeah. I feel like I'm going to cry now, but thank you for listening. And happy Thanksgiving.